your gateway to digital transformation. We are an independent, vendor-neutral ISO /IEC 1024 accredited certification body committed to helping individuals and organizations stay future-ready in a rapidly evolving world. GSDC is accredited by the Accreditation Board for International Certification Bodies, 𝗂𝘂𝘁𝗵𝗊. For 10 years, we've certified more than 100,000 professionals across Europe, North America, Asia, and Africa, with our offices in Switzerland, the United States, and Singapore. Our programs are recognized by leading publications and podcasts, including Forbes, Tech Target, People Managing People. We offer 100-plus globally accredited certifications across emerging and in-demand domains like generative AI and emerging technologies, HR and learning and development, project management and agile Scrum, ISO and quality management, information security. Each GSDC certification is designed to empower professionals with confidence and help organizations stay competitive in a fast-changing landscape. Every certification is crafted with insights from 100-plus global advisory board members representing top universities and leading industry experts. Our certified professionals are trusted by 500-plus multinational companies, which help unlock better roles, faster promotions, and delivering cutting-edge expertise. We partner with 100-plus authorized training partners and 50-plus universities, supporting talent across all career levels, from entry-level to executive leadership. As a GSDC member, you gain lifelong access to interactive webinars, hands-on workshops, SME panels, and global summits. Join a vibrant community of 25,000-plus members and be part of our global events. Check our reviews on Trustpilot. We're trusted worldwide for quality, support, and impact. Whether you're aiming higher or building tomorrow's talent, GSDC is your partner in purposeful growth and impactful leadership. Visit our website to explore our offerings. GSDC, share the best practices and learn from the best practices. Welcome to the Global Skill Development Council, your gateway to digital transformation. We are an independent, vendor-neutral ISO /IEC 1024 accredited certification body committed to helping individuals and organizations stay future-ready in a rapidly evolving world. GSDC is accredited by the Accreditation Board for International Certification Bodies, 𝗂𝘂𝘁𝗵𝗊. For 10 years, we've certified more than 100,000 professionals across Europe, North America, Asia, and Africa, with our offices in Switzerland, the United States, and Singapore. Our programs are recognized by leading publications and podcasts, including Forbes, Tech Target, People Managing People. We offer 100-plus globally accredited certifications across emerging and in-demand domains like generative AI and emerging technologies, HR and learning and development, project management and agile Scrum, ISO and quality management, information security. Each GSDC certification is designed to empower professionals with confidence and help organizations stay competitive in a fast-changing landscape. Every certification is crafted with insights from 100-plus global advisory board members representing top universities and leading industry experts. Our certified professionals are trusted by 500-plus multinational companies, which help unlock better roles, faster promotions, and delivering cutting-edge expertise. We partner with 100-plus authorized training partners and 50-plus universities, supporting talent across all career levels, from entry-level to executive leadership. As a GSDC member, you gain lifelong access to interactive webinars, hands-on workshops, SME panels, and global summits. Join a vibrant community of 25,000-plus members and be part of our global events. Check our reviews on Trustpilot. We're trusted worldwide for quality, support, and impact. Whether you're aiming higher or building tomorrow's talent, GSDC is your partner in purposeful growth and impactful leadership. Visit our website to explore our offerings. GSDC, share the best practices and learn from the best practices. Welcome to the Global Skill Development Council, your gateway to digital transformation. We are an independent, vendor-neutral ISO /IEC 1024 accredited certification body committed to helping individuals and organizations stay future-ready in a rapidly evolving world. GSDC is accredited by the Accreditation Board for International Certification Bodies, 𝗂𝘂𝘁𝗵𝗍. For 10 years, we've certified more than 100,000 professionals across Europe, North America, Asia, and Africa, with our offices in Switzerland, the United States, and Singapore. Our programs are recognized by leading publications and podcasts, including Forbes, Tech Target, People Managing People. We offer 100+ globally accredited certifications across emerging and in-demand domains like generative AI and emerging technologies, HR and learning and development, project management and agile Scrum, ISO and quality management, information security. Each GSDC certification is designed to empower professionals with confidence and help organizations stay competitive in a fast-changing landscape. Every certification is crafted with insights from 100+ global advisory board members representing top universities and leading industry experts. Our certified professionals are trusted by 500+ multinational companies, which help unlock better roles, faster promotions, and delivering cutting-edge expertise. We partner with 100+ authorized training partners and 50+ universities, supporting talent across all career levels, from entry-level to executive leadership. As a GSDC member, you gain lifelong access to interactive webinars, hands-on workshops, SME panels, and global summits. Join a vibrant community of 25,000+ members and be part of our global events. Check our reviews on Trustpilot. We're trusted worldwide for quality, support, and impact. Whether you're aiming higher or building tomorrow's talent, GSDC is your partner in purposeful growth and impactful leadership. Visit our website to explore our offerings. GSDC, share the best practices and learn from the best practices.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining. We'll be starting a session now. Please allow me a minute so I can quickly share my screen and we can start. Here we go. I hope you all can see my screen. And again, I would love to give you all a very warm welcome to our series GSDC Certified Learning Intelligent Enterprises Scaling AI for Business Impact, with a theme that is exploring how organization can leverage AI, automation, and data-driven intelligence to accelerate innovation, improve decision-making, and drive sustainable growth. My name is Preetham. I'll be here as your session moderator. Let me know if you have any question or concern for me, and I'm happy to assist you all. So what makes this session more exciting that we always have this incredible panel of AI experts globally who will be joining us to share their insights, right? So you can use the same registration link to join rest of the sessions. This is happening from 15 till 26th June 2026. And with the same time slot, which is 9:30 according to Singapore, 8:30 a.m. Central, 7 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and 9:30 a.m. Eastern. So set a reminders for yourself that you won't miss these impactful sessions, right? And a quick introduction to our hosting organization, those who have joined us for the first time here. So we known as Global Skill Development Council. We're vendor agnostic, vendor neutral, which is completely independent body, certification body. And of course, we have 100+ authorized training partner across the regions. So a big thanks to all our training partners and those individuals who have joined us through our training partner channel. In case if you're looking for any training program for yourself, feel free to reach out to our training partners to have further inquiries about the training programs. And you will find their contact details shortly in the chat box. And also, I'm very happy to inform you all that we are accredited by 𝗂𝘂𝘁𝗶𝘃 and supported by World Press Hub, which is our official media partner. They cover all our events and press releases. Also, I'm very proud to inform you all that we have 100+ certification portfolios with us, that we do have offerings in different domains about the certification program. And also, we have 500+ subject matter experts. Those are the industry experts. So basically, they help us with all our programs, exams, and all the deliverables. And also we have certified more than 250,000 professionals worldwide. Also, as I mentioned, we have 100+ authorized training partner across the regions. And also we are association with 1,000+ multinational corporates, 500 Fortune companies, and 50+ universities across the world. And a quick introduction to our lifelong learning initiative platform, which we have introduced a few months back, which is GSDC AI Studio, a platform where we are providing 100+ live sessions on AI, which is led by global experts, where basically you will be getting 4 daily sessions, which is 45 minutes of live and impactful sessions, along with the hands-on learning, which means you'll be getting opportunity or a platform where you can apply all the things that you have learned. And in case if you get any question or doubts, all your questions will be resolved, answered. Real real-time basis with the help of our subject matter experts. So this training is aligned with industry standards for absolutely job-ready skills. And I believe this is amazing opportunity and a great platform to learn from the AI leaders around the world. And in case if you're wondering how you can access all the sessions that is available in the GSDC AI Studio, kindly get in touch with the learning advisor to understand more about this process. You will find their contact details shortly in the chat box. And without any further ado, I would love to welcome our today's speaker, 𝗟𝗂𝗃𝗃. And here's more about 𝗟𝗃𝗃. I believe many of you already know 𝗟𝗃𝗃, but those who have joined his first session. So 𝗟𝗃𝗃 is a lead AI engineer at a global bank in Singapore, a GSDC advisory board member, and recognized expert in agentic AI and multi-agent system. He specializes in building enterprise scale AI solution using land graph, MCP, LangChain, Azure AI, and modern agent orchestration frameworks. A frequent international speaker and founder of Agentic AI Masterclass community, 𝗟𝗃𝗃 has been driving force in advancing practical AI adoption worldwide. As a valued GSDC advisory board member, he has contributed extensively to the community through multiple highly AI sessions, sharing cutting edge insights on agentic AI, generative AI, and intelligent automation while helping professionals stay ahead in the rapidly evolving AI landscape. Let's give him a warm welcome as he'll be presenting the topic today, which is implementing multi-agent system that collaborate and delegate tasks efficiently. Thank you so much, 𝗟𝗃𝗃. You can have the hand of the mic. Thanks.
Thank you, Pratham. Supersonic speed, by the way. But yeah, great introduction as always. Could you allow me to share my screen? Okay, I think I can share. Yep. Let me know once you can see my screen. Can you see my screen? Okay, perfect, awesome. So just to get a better view, I'll turn off my camera. Yeah. Oh, great. Hello, everyone, and good evening, good morning, good afternoon, based on wherever you're joining from. And thank you so much, GSDC, again, for having me here as a speaker. My name is 𝗟𝗃𝗃𝗃, everyone. I lead generative AI work and architect agentic systems, and I have spent most of my time actually building these systems, teaching engineers how to build. So everything I can share tonight comes from what I really ship, not from just a slide share or just a presentation deck. So here is where we are actually headed for the next 45 minutes, so that for the last 2 years, whatever most of what we have done or chasing only one thing, which we have seen, right, in the industry. I mean, if you have built agents, if you have been working with agents, then a single assistant which gets a little smarter every few months, smarter and smarter and smarter. And that's what we have seen in the industry, right? But tonight, I want to kind of convince you that the real frontier is not a smarter individual person, or a smarter individual assistant or agent. It is always a better team, right? Teams of specialized agents that collaborates, delegates the tasks the same way, exactly same way, like how a smart group of people will come up with $1 billion product. So I'll cover four things: what multi-agentic systems are, why they can scale, the collaboration and delegation patterns that actually works in production level, the economics, both the value and the real cost actually, and finally governance, including some honest public failures also, where we can actually learn from them, not to criticize them, but yeah. So let's go through that, and let's try to see how we can learn more in this one. So let me start with the core idea, because everything else hangs off this core idea. For a long side, what has happened from long time, right? The question what we ask was, how do I make one agent smarter, and how do I make it even more smarter? But I wanted to switch to the question to what is the right team for this job to do, right? On the left hand side, you'll see a single agent, right? Think of it as one brilliant employee doing everything end to end: planning, tool call, memory, final outputs, everything works perfectly fine until the work gets broad and you hit a final wall. Now, one single context window where everything runs in a super sequential manner, and there is a ceiling where you simply cannot push past that particular ceiling. On the right, you'll see a multi-agentic system. Here, an orchestrator breaks the goal down and hands the scope pieces of work to specialists, basically, right, who can run at the same time. Look at those four advantages, because they are the whole talk in a small miniature. Each agent gets its own context window. Independent subtasks run concurrently. When we say concurrently, technically parallelly. Every role is modular, so you can test, upgrade its own, And you can add reviewer agents as dedicated reliability layer on top of it. One honest caveat here before we go further is more agents is not automatically better always, remember, yeah? So you have to also think about use cases. The real skill is knowing when a team is best required and when will I need to call completely explicit in just one few slides, yeah? So perfect. With that, moving to the next, the foundation piece, right? Before we start building teams, let us agree on what a single agent actually is. Okay, so we are all using same words. A foundation model, the large language model itself, becomes an agent when it gains capabilities. Capabilities such as beyond just having a conversation with a user. First, autonomy, right? It pursues a goal, decide its own next step. Instead of waiting for me to prompt it every single time, it uses a second tool, jumps on it, and just start working on it, right? Then comes the second piece, the tool usage. Agent can call APIs, query databases, run automations, run pieces, run APIs, run web pages, right? Run code also. Anthropic calls tools the building blocks of agent behavior, and that is exactly right because without tools, an agent can only talk, and with them, it can actually perform. It's not only Anthropic, but you can look at the agent SDKs which are out there, right? It's super amazing agent SDKs which are there, which can build this. Third one is the planning part. It breaks a goal into multiple steps. And in and this is the better piece because when you kind of decompose it the steps, you make your agent more smarter. It acts, it observes the results, the replans, and that is the loop, which often is called as React. Right? I mean, those who know how to build React agents, they can, quickly resonate with me. And the fourth point, memory. Short-term working memory for the task in front of it, plus long-term memory so it can recall things across sessions and hold on to these four. Because here is the main punchline at the bottom of the slide, if you can look at it, right? A multi-agentic system is simply many of these agents interacting, passing messages, sharing state, or following an orchestrator protocol. That is all multi-agent really means. So everything from here is just how we arrange them exactly. Now, why should you care enough to invest in any of this? I mean, if you are coming from a CTO background, CXO background, a C class people, right? Why should you even care about it? Why should you even invest into it? Here is the number that earns the rest of my time tonight because any agentic AI providers, or let's say any LLM providers, owns engineering team, built a multi-agent research team, a lead agent on their most of the capable models with several sub-agents on a cheaper, faster model, and it outperforms a single agent by 90.2% on their own internal research evaluation. And this research, by the way, is done by Anthropic's own team, right? 90%. The reason is on the right. Many of the sub-agents explore different directions in parallel, each with a clean context window. But I want to be very honest as a practitioner in this room. So let me say the cost out loud, right? That multi-agentic systems used roughly 15 times of the token of normal chat, which is higher, no doubt in that. Okay, I agree. I know it's there, it is reality, and it is the fact. The token usage alone explains about the 80% of the performance difference between a single agent and a multi-agent. And once you add these numbers of the tool calls also, and then the choice of your model, you explain 90% of it very easily. Okay. So the takeaway is not always go with multi-agent. Remember, the takeaway here is very simple. When a task is valuable and it is split into parallel work, the performance jump is enormous, no doubt. And you have to budget for compute, right? No doubt in that. But I will show you also how exactly you can claw most of the cost back when you reach the economical piece. And that is, I know that most of you are interested in that piece, right? I recently posted on my LinkedIn also that I created like almost entire flagship level chat builders that you have that you see in the market like ChatGPT, Anthropic's, Chat, Claude. We can build that locally within your personal laptop very easily. All you need is to fine tune your context and fine tune your basically the system prompt so better that you can actually implement all those things locally. And then now there are open weight models which are super powerful and you can literally do that practically, right? But okay, let's not go there that far. Let's come back, step back one more time. This is honestly the most useful slide for everyone or anyone who is going to go and build this beyond this point, because it prevents most of the expensive mistakes, which is making everything multi-agentic. Let's not make everything multi-agentic. Let's be very clear, concrete. Okay. Reach for a team when the work is breadwidth and splits into independent subtasks. Things like research, discovery, gathering from many sources at one single time. When a parallelism genuinely helps, when you have distinct specialty roles such as a planner, retriever, analyst, reviewer, I think those who have attended my last session might have already seen this piece, right? I explained it very clearly. And when the value of the task clearly, very clearly clears that the 15 times token premium I just mentioned one slide back, on the other side, stay with me on the single agent, when the agent would need to share same context constantly, or when the steps are tightly coupled, right? The classic example that there is coding debugging where each step depends on one step before it. Now, what one of the flagship model owners say is that this is in their own words, yeah, that the domains which requires all agents to share the same context are not good fit for multi-agentic systems. So I quote that very simply, deliberately, because it gives you permission to say not to hype, but the governance principles which are there going to be on top of your head. You need to start the simplest things to make work first, and then you need to prove why do you really need to go for multi-agentic. And without this, don't go for it. But again, you know what? I'm always a critic for my own tasks which I plan and for my own words which I say, right? So I love it. But here, I'm always highlighting you, flagging you some amber points, some red points. But yeah, you have to note down these points, which are super important. So if we have decided that the team is the right decision, okay, how do agents actually work together? Now, that is the most important question. The good news is that there is a small finite vocabulary here, 7 patterns. Almost everything you will see in production is just a combination of these 7 patterns. And you need to make sure that each of this pattern is maintained properly in the implementation that you're trying to do. I will not read all 7 of them. Let me just basically orient you on the top row. Supervisor is one lead agent that routing work to each specialist. Now, hierarchical is the supervisors managing on the other side. That is how you basically scale to the larger number, right? Hierarchical is basically just the scaling part for the supervisor. And then sequential is a very simple pipeline where each output feeds the next. And concurrent is a raw parallelism which independently subtasks at the same time. And the bottom row, which you see, are about the quality, coordination. The debate is agents arguing towards better consequences. Higher the quality, but it also costs you a lot of tokens. Okay. Blackboard is that the agent sharing a common workspace instead of messaging each other directly. As simple as that, right? Very simple. And a peer-to-peer is always fully decentralized, super robust, but the coordination cost grows quickly as you add these agents to talk to each other. And how do we do that? You all know, right? A to A, agent to agent, or MCP. The one line I would underline here is the real systems are hybrid, and choosing the wrong pattern for your problem is going to be single most common architectural mistake which you can make in your current organization. And that's what we don't want you to make, right? That's what we want to understand the concepts of multi-agentic patterns, which basically MAS, right? Multi-agentic systems. This is the pattern I would anchor on. I mean, as personally myself, right? Because this is how you should start, because it is the default most enterprise level work. A lead agent, I mean, this you can call hub and spoke mechanism also, right? A lead agent, the orchestrator, does 3 things, and you can see them along the bottom. First, it decomposes the request into clearly scoped smaller subtasks. Second, it delegates those to specialized agents, or you can call them specialists, that runs in parallel. And here, a researcher, an analyst, a coder, a writer, all these 4 are there, each with its own context, its own tools capabilities, right? Operate. And then the third is it synthesizes everything back into one coherent answer and a super synthesized answer. I don't say super summarized answer, I'm saying super synthesized answer. Okay, remember there's a huge difference in that. Why do enterprises like this pattern so much? Because you can control, you can audit, and there is one place where the entire plan lives, which makes the whole thing explainable, super and easily explainable to the governance teams. And I mean, if you can feel the pain that I'm coming from, governance is a huge pain. So you always have to prove them that why you're doing this and how this will benefit you. Okay. So if your work anywhere regulate you that it knows that what is nice to have and what is good to have, then you understand the whole game. Now the trade-off is also there. Obviously, there's gonna be a trade-off, right? So this trade-off is simple, and I will say it super plain that the orchestrator is both a bottleneck also and a single point of failure also, because we are in a hub and spoke mechanism, right? So if the plan goes badly, everything downstream goes wrong. And this is exactly why we need reviewer agents, critic agents. This is exactly why one single team gets big and it moves to the next pattern. And that pattern is hierarchical team, right? Now, so what happens is when one orchestrator cannot keep up, you do not make it bigger. Forget about that. Yeah. You add another layer of management. And this will feel very familiar to anyone who has ever scaled a team of people in reality, like as a team lead. Or maybe if you are part of a company which is like a MNC company and you know the hierarchies, how the hierarchies work, right? You'll understand this concept very easily. At the top, an executive supervisor sets the objectives, which leads and performs kind of like a delivery and lead, right? Then at the below, the workers actually execute the rules of thumb from IBM's research. It's very simple. A single supervisor effectively manages somewhere between 5 to 10 agents, which is still okay. But when you hit that limit of 5 to 10 agents, you add another tier of supervisor. That's it. And the reason this matters is that it keeps coordination overhead bounded, and also it maintains your entire context. If you understand the glossary that I'm coming with, then you'll probably be getting that it sits comfortably between single overloaded orchestrator and fully decentralized mesh, basically between that, where the coordination cost explode as you add agents more and more and more. And this is the pattern behind large deployment failures, where they kind of keep one linear agent and they go wrong. That's where you have to follow this pattern, which will give you basically genuinely practical large deployments where 50, 60, or 70 agents are there. And if you remember one analogy from tonight, make this as one analogy that you remember as a key takeaway, because you already know how to scale an organization. This is the same management discipline which is applied to softwares also. Every single time, whenever we compare things, we always try to map it with the real life. Now, for example, machine learning, right? If you want to explain machine learning to somebody, what do? You tell them that machine learning is like a student, right? So student goes with plain blank state to class. He learns over entire year from books. So books is his training data. And then there is exam, which is evaluation, right? And there are only certain questions out of training data. There's not going to be like entire book is going to be asked to you. So based on how you answer, whether you pass or fail, it is decided. Exactly like machine learning, right? So you have a training data, you have a testing data, you have evaluation. Based on the evaluation, there is a score. Based on certain score parameters, whether you're pass or fail, it gets decided. Exactly like that. Map this multi-agentic system with a real-time team of software engineers or any team where you work in your company. And then you will understand this concept super easily, right? Because a single manager can handle at the time 10 to 15 people with super efficiency. The moment that load goes beyond that, the manager has to now assign another manager who can delegate the work that he is doing and he is overheaded with, and the other manager can manage the rest of the people, right? And that way you can break down the entire chain into smaller pieces and still maintain the main originality, that goal oriented agents, right? Now let me give you very specific about how delegation works, because I've mentioned delegation a couple of times already. See, this is where efficiency actually wins or loses both. Again, I'm being critical of my own statements. There are three mechanisms. Routing is very cheap, fast classifiers that looks at the request and sends it to the right specialist. Think of it as a triage at the front door. Okay, handoffs are when one agent transfer control to other agent, and the important detail is each handoff is recorded. It is kind of logged with what we have seen earlier, right? When I was talking about the governance piece in the last session. So you can basically replay it, and basically after that you can literally audit it. So decomposition is the orchestrator breaking a bigger goal into scope subtasks and planning their order. Underneath all three, it's a strategic choice whether you will have to make and you'll have to decide if it is shown, right? And then static delegation is basically fixed, handcrafted routing. It is predictable and easy to audit, which makes it perfect for well understood repeated process, but not for a like huge process, right? And then dynamic delegation lets the orchestrator build and refine the plan at runtime. And it is far more powerful because for open-ended work, it is the harder to predict. So it needs a tight guardrail also. And my practical advice is very simple. Start with a static approach. Earn your way to dynamic, just like a game. You earn your own points, you earn your own skills, right? And you become more dynamic once you have real observability stack in place. And do not begin with the most flexible things because those are the things which will start failing immediately if you start begin with them, right? Now, how delegation works in real time. So let's make all of this concrete, okay, with the real workflow. So this is again Anthropic's documented research team simplified. It starts with a simple lead agent on the left hand side. It analyzes my question and writes its plan into memory. Okay, listen to me very carefully. This is very important. And that detail matters a lot because if the context overflows, the plan still survives. Then what it does, it spawns 3 to 5 sub agents, each on the cheaper models, each with its own context window, all searching in parallel. A dedicated citation agent attaches the source, and then the lead synthesizes the final result together. The efficiency comes from two level of parallelism, and this is the key insight on the side. The lead runs several subagents at once. Each of those subagents fires several tool calls at once. So your wall clock time drops, and from basically some of all of these steps down to roughly the longest single step, you get it simplified. That is where the 90% calculation which we were talking about comes from. And notice the cost discipline that is already baked into the design. Notice it very properly. When I was talking, I already mentioned about it. The expensive frontier model is used only for lead, and the worker are all cheaper models, which is the perfect setup for any setup, any kind of implementation. Now, economics wise, four levers that turn agents into simply scale. Now, the theme of this whole series is scaling AI for business impact, correct? You have been part of the series, I believe so. So let me speak directly into scalability. In a multi-agentic system, it comes from four levers. The first is horizontal specialization. So when you scale by adding specialists, okay, by adding management layer, not by stuffing more and more and more agents one after another, not like that. Second is parallel execution. That time advantage we just saw in the action, right? We just saw. And the third is modularity, basically. Because each agent is separate, self-contained unit, and your team can build, test, deploy, upgrade all of these things independently. That is the organizational scalability, right? Not just runtime performance or not just enterprise scale that it is, often super big wins that we want to calculate. And the fourth and the most important lever of the whole thing is one that makes the economical survival. Routing the calls to smaller models, cheaper models, nano models, mini models, and save the expensive frontier models from genuinely hard reasoning. Basically, here is how I would frame this whole thing for the leaders in this room. So if there are any leadership people in this room, the four levers together are why well-built multi-agent architecture can absorb 10 times the demand without 10 times the cost, but only if your engineers are powerful enough to build it. That does not happen by accident, by the way. That requires skill set. Okay. So it's very important to hire right people to build right thing. Now, I just told you that multi-agentic system cost about 15 times the token. So let me also show you how you earn that back, because this is the slide your finance teams care about. Okay. So again, now any finance people in the room, model routing means small lightweight router decides for every single request whether a cheaper model can handle it or whether it needs escalation to an expensive frontier model. That is called live cascading. Okay. This live cascading is also implemented, practically tested, and it actually kind of works, which is, I have personally tested. Few people would love to call it as a router, or I mean, there are a lot of terminologies to it in the market, to be honest. But yeah, it's basically model cascading. The research anchor here is Route LLM out of basically Berkeley. Published, I mean, what Berkeley did, right? They published a ICLR last year. Look at the chart. Routing cut the cost by up to 85% as per their benchmarking, while keeping about 90% of the frontier model's quality intact. Because, as it turns out, about only 14% of the queries actually needs that expensive model. Now, to be very honest, again, there's a caveat here, but please remember it. Those savings are only real if you misroute something, and I mean, if you don't miss the routing and your routing is working properly. So genuinely, you need to send a very hard prompt to a weaker model, and you pay for it. It retries, it goes to higher model, and then you pay for it. So what happens here? Tell me one thing. If I give a very tough task to a mini model, it is not able to do that because of certain reasons, XYZ reasons. It delegates that task to higher model. Now you're paying for 2 times the token consumption. So routing has to be paired with the real evaluation. And for the leadership people here, the bottom line is routing is the difference between agentic AI being a scary part and open-ended line item, and one you actually really can budget. And given the fact that the inference demand is projected and it's going to grow rapidly, right, by 2027, this is not optional discipline. It is nowadays becoming essential for every organization to implement a router in place, right? And that is very important. Again, model cascading, right? Now, two open protocols, which are the backbone of scalability. I know I'm going a little fast, a little paced, but I want to really cover every single point because this is a really important topic and really important section where people should be aware about what they're building. They should be aware about all these things while or before they are starting to think about MAS, right? Multi-agentic system. So to scale across a real enterprise, agents and tools from many different vendors have to work together. And two open standards make that actually technically possible. And here is the part I find reassuring. Both of them are now part of Linux Foundation projects. How many of you already knew this, right? So Anthropic donated MCP to Linux Foundation. Google donated A2A to Linux Foundation. So this is not one vendor trying to lock you in. The first is MCP, Model Context Protocol, from Anthropic. Think of it as an agent to tools standard, the USB-C for AI. I mean, you might have heard this from many people, so I'm not going to repeat it again. But yeah, I mean, it's technically USB-C for AI. It is a uniform way to plug an agent into your APIs, your files, your database, your insider own boundaries, and maintain those boundaries by creating your own MCP server in-house. You can do that. And why not? You can use public MCP servers also, right? If you're properly doing it. The second is A2A, agent to agent, from Google. And it has over 150 backers now, almost, right? That is the agent to agent standard. So what it does, it lets agent discover each other's delegation. It lets agents discover each other, first of all, right? How many agents are there in this pool? They can delegate the work across organizational lines without exposing their internal logic to each other, which is the good or the best part. Okay. And the key point here is, again, at the bottom, if you see, these two are completely not competing with each other. They are complementary to each other. So when we say they are not competing with each other, MCP is not going to replace the concept of A2A, and A2A is not going to replace the concept of MCP. They are totally independent of each other and they are complementing each other. So if your project has both MCP and A2A, which is normal, but I have heard people saying that, "Hey, you have already MCP protocol, right? Why do you want A2A also?" That's not the point. That's not how you should look at it. Okay. MCP and A2A can go hand in hand. And technically speaking, I mean, like if you look at A2A, A2A handles the handshake between agents, and then each agent uses its own MCP to reach its own tools. So there's a huge difference in that. PayPal already chains both of them into production ready. So for the leaders which are betting on open protocols, is how you avoid rebuilding all of your integrations every single time the model makes market shifts. And believe me, it is shifting every month. You might have already seen, right? 𝗂𝗏𝗡 came in, it went away, nobody noticed, and we got the most golden 2 to 3 days of our life where you could build a lot of stuff and you could actually learn a lot from Fable, and then it just went away. And then again, the Anthropic's Claude, like Claude keeps on upgrading every 3 months. It's like quarterly release, they're already delivering, right? But we don't know. That's happening. That's happening in the market right now at this point. But MCP in A2A is something which you need sooner if you are looking at that level, right? Then the next one is again very important: 7 layers of production system. And again, I don't have to talk about this because several people are posting this on LinkedIn in many different ways, exploiting your minds. But you have to remember, if someone on your team asks, okay, but what do we actually have to build? This is the answer: 7 layers, top to bottom. Orchestration layer is the brain. It routes, it plans. Agent runtime is what actually executes each agent. Memory and state holds the context and makes run resumable through any checkpointers if you have LangGraph or any other graph-based basically framework. The tool in the MCP is the gateway where governance really begins with the scoped credential, vetted tool list, audit logs, and cost caps. You never let agents reach your tool's undergoverned. Remember that. Model routing is the economics layer, which we just discovered just a while back. Guardrails are your input and output filtering, and your policy enforcement, your reviewer agents, and your human approval gates, basically, for any consequences. And I always say this in every call or everywhere, that before your guardrails are hit by somebody else, you try to hit your own guardrail. Okay. And that's how you learn. And observability wraps the whole piece around it. So every model call, every tool usage, every AI handoff, every agentic handoff, everything gets traced. And that is how you should debug a cascading failure. And it is how you should satisfy an auditor. As simple as that. The message I want to leave with you in your mind is model itself is maybe 20% of the work, but other 6 layers are the whole pure AI engineering pieces and the governance model, that what separates a flashy demo on LinkedIn everywhere from something you can actually ship into production. So I know I'm being very harsh here. I'm being very to the point here, but it has to be delivered this way. That how do you debug and how do you cascade failure? It's totally up to you, right? The message is very simple. Again, I'm repeating, model itself maybe is literally just 20% of the work, which people think is 90% of the work, but no, it's just 20%. And the other 6 layers are the super important AI engineering pieces which you require, yeah, at every step. A quick, deliberately vendor neutral tour of this tooling, right? Look at this. Because I know there are some different stacks represented in this room. I know you might be coming from Crew AI background. You are coming from Google ADK background. Somebody might have OpenAI Agent SDK framework as a favorite framework. Somebody loves Nemo, and Llama Index, right? So it depends on your choice. The good news is that the framework have converged into about 4 orchestration styles. So you should choose based on your style, governance fit, not based on whose logo is it. Very important point, yeah. LangGraph models your workflow as a stateful graph with check pointers, human in the loop, and it picks regulated auditable system. Crew AI, on the other hand, is fantasy also, and it's very good, faster way to get working prototypes ready using role-based crews. Again, yeah, it's a custom library. Microsoft's new agent framework, which merge their earlier autogen and semantic kernel into and now switch into .NET and Azure House. While OpenAI's Agent SDK is the lowest friction option, and if you are already GPT centric with the handoff and tracing building it, Google's ADK is hierarchical and A2A native, right time out of the box. But to be honest, here is the honest line I will leave with you. The framework is the least durable decision you will make. Models and SDK changes every month again. So collaboration pattern and the governance layer are what last. So invest wisely into real thinking and not only into logos that you see. Okay, it's very important. It's not logo based. Remember, if it would be logo based, then there are thousands of vehicles in this world, brands which would not sell their car, right? Because we'll just go with the logo and just go with the brand. So I'm being very honest here. Now, let me ground all of this. that are genuinely shipping, not science projects. Right? 3 examples. The first point is Anthropic's research team, and that is the 90% of, sorry, 92% result which we anchored earlier. Second is the best documented enterprise case outside of the AI vendors, which is JP Morgan's MAFA. Right? Go through it, you will love it. It's very good. It is a team of specialist agents that annotates customer message at super scale. And in their own publisher paper, it says the backbone of 1 million utterance, right? High 86% agreement with human annotators. And it saves about like 5,000 hours of manual hours a year. And here is the detail which I love the most. When their model capacity basically dropped, the system gracefully degraded to fewer agents at slightly lower accuracy instead of failing the entire system. And that is the exact resilience design what I want you all to think. The third is simple JP Morgan's Ask David, a multi-agent investment research assistant which is built on a plan, detect, replan loop. It is one of the basically over 450 AI use cases they run on production, heading for thousands of next year. But I will leave it with you with their own chief analytics officer, and basically, right, because it sets up the next slide perfectly. So let's go through that one. I don't want to talk about certain companies, right? So that's why I'm just moving ahead. 3 public failures and 3 lessons coming through it. Okay. I think credibility with a serious audience comes from showing the scars, not just the trophies, because trophies, everybody will talk about happy path, but we need to talk about the failure cases also. So here are these 3 public incidents, and each one of them is a different kind of risk. First is Air Canada. Their chatbot invented a refund policy that did not exist at all. There was no refund policy there, right? And it just invented refund policy and just gave away like that. A complete tribunal held at the airline, and that is especially, what happens is like it got rejected. The argument that is actually the chatbot was somehow generated its own separate legal entity. And the lesson is also very simple, right? Like you own your agent's output, full stop. That's all. You need to own it, ground it, monitor it, check if it is drifting. And then second, Replit. Last July, what happened? An AI coding agent deleted a live production database during an explicit code freeze. And then it is reported that the data could not be recovered, which was not even true. The lesson there is the least privilege and hard separation between development and production, remember. So no autonomous rights to production system should happen. And third is Microsoft's EcoLeak. This was the first zero-click prompt ingestion data leak in a shipping product, right? Or I would say a shipped product. A single crafted email pulled internal data out of Microsoft 365 Copilot with no clicks from the user at all. The lesson is that very simple, or I would say, very clear that indirect prompt injection is a structural risk for any agent that is mixed with trusted and untrusted content. And that is where you need to draw a line where to keep your red zone content, where to keep your green zone content. Separate it out. And let me tie this together. None of this is a reason not to deploy. They are precisely the reason to deploy with governance, which is exactly where we are going in the next slide. Now, most important part again, yeah. So let us talk about reality because I want to stay honest with you throughout this. Yeah. McKinsey says with the latest number, 62% of organizations are experimenting with agents, but only 23% are actually scaling them powerfully and in reality. And Gartner expects more than 40% of agentic projects to be cancelled by 2027, literally, because of the cost, because of the unclear value, and because of the weak controls. And that is what we are looking at also. We are seeing that gap, right? Now, that gap between a promising pilot and a real production is the entire game of how people should build this game. Here is what closes it. 4 practices, right? First, treat every agent as a digital identity with least privilege access and full audit trail. Second, instrument super end-to-end observability. Note that this is the increasing regulatory expectation under the EU AI Act, which is recently called out, and not just a good hygiene point. Yeah. Third, keep humans in the loop on consequential actions. And McKinsey also found out that high performers do this far more often than anybody else. 65% versus 23%. Imagine. And fourth, apply FinOps thinking with cost caps and kill switches. So a proper runaway loop cannot be quietly going to bankrupt level. I mean, you might be knowing where I'm leading with this, but yeah, there are few companies which might have lost a lot of control over tokens and then they just went bankrupt literally. So the reframe I want to leave with you is simple. Governance is not the brake on the scaling part. Governance is not your enemy for scaling your agents. Remember, it is the enabler. The organizations that actually scale are the ones that made their agents observable, identity bound, and cost capped literally from day one. Those are the features which you should implement right from day one. And let me leave you with a plan. So you could actually start on Monday with these three phases. Phase number one, or you can call it stage number one, right? Simple. The first 3 months, prove the value on a single high volume workflow that already has been a baseline you can measure against. Something like RPA robots or customer service deflection or document processing or IT triage, which you have created, right? Start with a single agent. Instrument everything, the tokens, the accuracy, the latency, the escalations, everything. And only move on when you see real return against tracker numbers. Stage two, months of 3 to 9, architect for scale. Move to a supervisor hierarchical pattern and model routing and independently verified agent. And to be honest, standardize on MCP for your tools. And then move on when your token yields to hold steady as you grow. Stage three is 9 to 10 months, 9 and beyond that. Yeah. Governance and expand. Agent identity, least privileges, production isolation, and human approval gates are all pieces of that. Yeah. And you expand your autonomy only as your accuracy holds and your every action stays auditable throughout. Very important piece because governance will come back and haunt you at that point of time. Yeah. If you remember nothing else, remember these three rules. If the steps are tightly coupled, stay single agent. If the value is below, that is 15 times premium, and do not go multiple agent, just wait for it because you don't have enough budget for it, right? So technically speaking, what is the bring home from this one? I've given you a lot of points, but if you take one sentence away tonight, which makes this super easy, the frontier is not a bigger agent, it is a better team. Always remember, right? Three things to remember: collaboration, specialized agents that delegate beat a single generalist on the right kind of work, which you technically not know how to identify. Scalability and parallelism. A smart routing model and open protocol lets you scale capably without blindly trusting anything, right? And obviously governed also. Then identity, observability, and human oversight are what carries you from an impressive pilot to something you can actually depend on. And the line where I will leave you tonight with is basically, I truly believe it. Learn to build your agents before agent starts learning to replace you. You will see this line on every single post that I post on my LinkedIn, right? I'm trying to create this kind of a thing, by creating this. So that's the whole pitch which I wanted to give you. That whatever you're building, whatever you're trying to build, MAS is very, very vast topic, and that's the reason honest level, in reality, very few people are actually able to prove the worth of usage of AI. The ROI in reality of 2024, 2025 has been super down, sometimes in minus. But again, at the same time, remember these things, what are happening around you, are beginning of something great which is going to happen. And I always quote and I always mention that the future is not just agentic, it is going to be co-pilot. I mean, how many of you have seen that announcement from Jensen, right? That Microsoft and Jensen, they're coming, I mean, Microsoft and Nvidia, they're coming up with a agentic operating system. And that's not a hypothesis anymore. That's a reality. So what we are all moving towards is co-pilot. But at the same time, how this co-pilot works is nothing but your multi-agentic system, right? So that's the key takeaway. That's what I wanted to talk, and that's what I wanted to share with you guys. I hope I have delivered a message clear, strong, concise, I would say. I know I have talked a lot. I will open up for questions if you have any. So thanks.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Nisar, for another and incredible, insightful session today on implementing multi-agent systems, sharing those rules and this wonderful line, learn to build agents before agents learn to replace you. That was amazing session. Thank you so much. And as we are open for the Q&A, I can see there's question popping up in the chat box. So will you take it or should I read it for you?
I'll take it. I saw one question from Raj. So he has a question, and in the final outcomes collective, who becomes accountable, and also where should the trust reside and ability to govern, audit, control the decision made? Yeah, good point. So to be very honest, in a MAS plus MCP, right? Basically, memory and context game in the final outcome collectively, the accountability should not be depending upon MCP layer. Yeah, accountability is how you basically collectively operate what MCP gives you within your MS system. So I would say your multi-agentic system is the one who is responsible, who is accountable to maintain this. See, MCP, to be honest, if you own your own server of MCP and the server is built in house, then I would say it is easier to hold MCP server accountable. But let's say if you're open to use public MCP servers, you're kind of pulling tools out of it, and then your tool calls or the responsibilities that whatever you get as an output, that's your MS architecture responsibility. Also, the trust resides totally always on governance layer and your tool call layer, or you can call also synthesizer layer, right? So as I told you, if you have just a single agent as a supervisor and that single supervisor starts falling down, everything falls down as a downstream effect, correct? So where the trust resides in simplicity, auditing, and basically making sure that your agents are capable of delegating their task. If they are able to delegate it, you are getting all the logs, immutable logs in your logbook, right? So your trust is always in the governance layer, and ability to governance and handle basically any audit and control level decision made. That is also how you design your MS, right? That's the whole piece. Let me know if I'm missing anything, but I hope that answers your question.
Indeed, it is. Thank you so much, Nisar. There's another question that I've got from the live platform. I've already shared it in the chat box.
How do you determine when a task should be handled by a single agent versus delegation across multiple specialized agents within the system? So, okay, let me read it again. How do you determine when a task should be handled by a single agent versus... Okay, yeah, I just made the point here, right? So, David, I guess. So, David, let's just pick up two questions, two scenarios. One, let's say coding agent, okay? The agent which is responsible for basically creating a complete code base for you, yeah? In this coded agents or coding agent or coding assistant, whatever you call it, right? Let's say you give it a task, and then there are certain things that it need to follow. First, it needs to come up with a plan. It needs to break the whole piece into execution level. Then it needs to starts with the boilerplate code. After boilerplate code, it comes where it starts populating your backend. Then it starts populating your front end. It starts creating your server. It starts creating and connecting that server with the front end. Now it creates basically test cases. It tests locally. Now once the test cases are done, it tries to run it locally. Once locally testing is done, it tries to create a Docker file so it can push it to Docker. Once it's pushed to Docker, it checks the Docker's health check. Docker health check is good, then it pushes to your ACR or ACI, wherever you want to push it. In this case, you require a single agent where the tasks are moving in sequence, okay, because they're all sequential. Now imagine a scenario where you have multiple different types of skills and your task is given that, what I want to do is I want to kind of go ahead, or I want to kind of test this code out completely. Now while testing the code, there are different types of testing. If the code is roof checked properly, if the code test cases are written properly, if the test coverage is there, am I covering this, am I covering that, if the readme file is written properly, if the project structure is correctly maintained. Now all of these are independent of each other and I can parallelly call them together. But when I parallelly call them together, all of these individually are subgraphs or subagents within themselves. At this point of time, I will go ahead and I will decide, no, okay, now I need multiplied specialized agents with a proper system, right? That's how I would put it. So I hope that answers your question, David. I saw a question from 𝗂𝗓𝗃. So based on your experience, what do you think is the primary objective of the big organization today, building multi-agentic systems, minimizing raw token cost, or maximizing overall efficiency, accuracy plus speed? Because depending on the answer, The orchestration design, the model routing. Okay, there's a big question. I'll take it one by one. So, based on my experience, what do you think is the primary objective of the big organization today building multi-agentic systems? See, primary objective of bigger organizations today is, to be honest, as of now, what I've seen is minimizing the token cost, right? And why is that? Is because what they're thinking that a single agent or a monolithic agent will always go through all the steps, even if it is unnecessary. While a multi-agentic system will only bring me that particular agent with that particular tool call within given minimal efforts, faster response, and at the and overall, along with efficiency, also saving my token cost. Okay, so it's kind of a combination of accuracy and speed, as you mentioned. Yes, but apart from that, what is happening nowadays, since companies are going ahead and they are trying to kind of play around with a single agent, and now they are finding the wall, that ceiling, where they are hitting the wall, what is happening is no matter how many capabilities they add within that single agent is not able to bear all the context or bear all the work that you are delegating it, and it is not able to break it down also. Now the problem is, since you don't have subgraphs, it will basically just end up with some model drift, end up with some not good answers, and you will start calling it hallucination. And tomorrow when you try to switch the model, it will all start making sense, correct? So that's the problem. And your question also asks you, today most of the organizations are struggling to deploy AI system with accuracy, speed, token cost is a definitely issue, right? But how big? How big is, I would say, very big, because the reality of the market. Okay, I'll tell you one thing. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how many of you can resonate with me, but how many of you are actually working in service companies or shared companies, right? Where you are kind of working in a service company where you're giving a service as an AI engineer or agent builder or whatever, right? Now, what is happening since last 2 years, 2024 and 2025? AI could not generate that huge level of difference. I would say I wouldn't calculate it in cost level. I will cost it in difference level. AI couldn't make such of a huge difference. I mean, showcase wise it's good, but reality wise not a huge difference. That's why big time players like OpenAI entered market with OpenAI, their own basically building teams, OpenAI deployments. Microsoft entered the market with their own deployment teams, own strategies, right? Anthropic has not entered yet, but they might. Google is also entering market with their own deployments. Why is that? Why are these big firms who should be focusing on building models and building their models smarter, better, more agentic capabilities? Why are they putting their feet in the ground, and why are they started implementing and giving their ideation to the team or the companies? Is the exact main reason why. Because most of the organizations are struggling to deploy live AI use cases, real use cases, because the capability is lacking, because the architectures are not perfect, because the planning is not done very well. And 90% of the people, when I talk with them, I feel they're talking AI stuff, which is what I don't like. So the overall token consumption cost and accuracy and speed, all of this is just a fugazi. Reality is a whole different piece, Jay. Guru Prasad says, skills to learn to become a forward deployment engineer. How is it different from agentic AI architect? See, difference is very simple, Guru Prasad. Forward deployment engineer is the person who is already skilled and he already like owns that particular product. He knows in and out of what exactly happens, right? And how it is different from agentic AI architect is basically agentic AI architect. To be honest, agentic AI terminology itself is just 2 years old. How can you become an architect of it? You have to fall down. You have to learn from mistakes. You have to make mistakes to learn, right? And you have to actually go that road to identify, okay, this road is a blocker, because every new technology or every new terminology, whenever it comes to the market, you have to test it out in every single way. You can't just put it in a human trial immediately, right? I mean, I'm just talking medical terms now, but yeah. So how it works is basically, yeah, agentic AI architects could be a little bit wrong in implementation side, but they are learning from the best. And then to become a forward deployment engineer, you just need to know the product inside out. And then you can become a forward deployment engineer because you know the product. You are kind of a product SME and you're on the ground selling that product technically, not being a salesperson, right? I think those are all the questions. Any questions?
Perfect. Thank you so much, Nisar, for sharing all those thoughtful answers. And I believe this session is really going to be a very helpful for all the audience, as that gives us more clarification through today's session. And as we are done with the questions, we will stop here with the Q&A part. And I would like to inform all the participants I have some interesting quiz. So please stay connected till the end. And before I take the handover back, Nisar, do you have any final thoughts? And I can see some message popping up from Raj. From your room, there is a message. Can't read it. AI agents don't. What is that mantra?
I didn't get that question, man. Can you rephrase it? Make it simple for me.
Please, Raj, which mantra you want to know? Please let us know.
AI
All right.
agents don't. Yeah, I mean AI agents don't. To be honest, is like, yeah. I mean, I get the point where it's coming from. Just joking. I mean, the point is very simple. See, AI agents still, for me, technically, for me, right? They yet don't do things at IoT level that good, right? Because IoT is huge data to capture, huge data to understand, and the limitations of all the LLM models that we know so far is context, correct? And you can't feed, when you say you have 1 million context window, you can't feed entire 1 million tokens at the same point, right? So technically, AI agents still don't go to huge data analysis at the same point. They still have to break down, they still have to understand, and they still have to kind of put it into a COD mode, right? Chain of thoughts mode, to be able to read from a huge data. And that's where RAG is going to haunt you forever, until and unless you're going to be in the agent mode, you're going to be in all these modes, right? RAG is going to haunt you for sure. So that's the case. That's the main picture. Yep. I think that's all, Pritam.
Okay, thank you so much, Nisar, for answering all the questions so far. And I want to inform all the participants that I've shared Nisar's LinkedIn profile link in the chat box. So feel free to connect with him in case if you have any further questions or anything that you want to discuss. Also, there's other way where you can post your queries on social media, on LinkedIn, and tag GSDC. We are happy to answer all the questions with the help of our subject matter experts. So thank you so much. And as I mentioned that I have some interesting quiz for all of you regarding the today's session. We want to understand how much you are taking this takeaways from today's session. So please click on the link that I've shared in the chat box and complete the quiz. Follow the instructions that I've already shared along with the link in the chat box. And once you complete the quiz, let us know so we can proceed further, because I am not getting any responses from yesterday's session. So I want to get more responses from today's session. So please complete the quiz and let me know once you're done with the quiz. And also, I have some great announcement after this. Please stay connected till the end. I'll be waiting 2 minutes. Once you're done with the quiz, please do let me know. Maybe give me a thumbs up so I can proceed further with the closing notes.
I'll drop Pritam.
Yep. Thank you so much, Nisarg. We'll see you again in the next
Thank you.
session. Yep. Dear participants, please let me know once you're done with the quiz. I have to share the results with the management, so please do complete the quiz and let me know, because it isn't just a quiz, it's a absolute learning that you'll be taking away, right? So please complete the quiz. Just click on the link and follow the instruction. There are, I think, 5 questions, so please complete that, and once you do, let me know. I'll be waiting up. Yeah. Give thumbs up once you're done with the quiz. Let me know if you're facing any issue with the link. I can see 24 people in the room right now. So please do complete the quiz. Do let me know. Give me the acknowledgement so I can proceed with the closing slides. Abhishek, Aditya, Ayush, Amir, Dev Prasad, Guru Prasad. Please do complete the quiz, guys, and do let me know once you complete that, and then we'll proceed with the closing on it. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for informing me. Take your time, guys. I'll wait more 2 minutes. No worries. Perfect. Thank you so much, Guru Prasad. Thank you. Also, please do let me know, was it helpful for all of you? The questions were designed according to today's session to understand what learnings that you guys are getting. So let us know how you're finding any feedback. Feel free to share those feedbacks with us. I believe rest of the peoples in the room are completing the quiz. And once it's done, please do let me know so we can proceed with the closing notes. I have some great announcement regarding the offer code and the certification program that we offer. Also, I've shared all the links of the certification and the upcoming webinars registration link in the chat box. So meanwhile, who have completed, meanwhile, you can check those out. Perfect. So I believe that you all be completing the quiz and please share the results over social media. You can absolutely and tag GSDC. That's how we'll get the visibility, right? So thank you very much for attending today's session. As I mentioned that I do have some great announcements. So this is regarding certification program that we offer. Many of you already aware about certification that we offer this and AI foundation, AI tool, illustrating AI dome specialist, AI strategy, and AI change managers. Right? And use this for 4 weeks AI 2.0 20% discount for any of these certification. So what are you waiting for? In case you're really looking for to upskill your health, get into the London while to understand this certification process, how you can opt out for this. Right, and this is utility tool. This tool will really help you out with level up your profile. This will basically level up your profile. It will gives you an improvement tips how to level up your LinkedIn profile, or AI skills, or will also help to build your personal brand. And this tool has a feature where you can create AI generated resumes as well. Feel free to use AUG100 as a code to get 100% discount, which is absolutely free for our webinar in this. So check this out. I'll share a link in the chat if I haven't yet after this announcement. And a quick announcement regarding our regular track that is happening on ISO from 15 to 26 June. We have this incredible panel of experts who lined up for from 15 to 26, as I mentioned. This is happening on a different time slot, which is 10:30 p.m. Singapore. So you can join according to your time slot. And this is our another track on learning and development from 15 to 26 June. We have this incredible panel of learning and development experts will join us to share insights how to power tomorrow's workforce through learning and leadership. So please do join us. I've already shared the registration link that I've mentioned earlier in the chat box. If you haven't registered, please do register or refer your friends. And I'm happy to make the announcement of the spotlight of the week. So it's very easy how you can be the next spotlight, that you have to share your learning experiences, learning takeaways from today's session on our social media, tag GSDC, and we'll be picking one of the best experience story that we find, and we'll be giving that free or recognize and being social media network, and let's short up during our session, right? So please do share your learning stories and let's inspire others to join these powerful sessions as well. And we have these refer champions who have referred maximum people to our session. Let's congratulate to them. Also, it's very easy that you have to earn 50 points. or more than 50 points. Whoever earns 50 points will be getting back to them with the rewards, which is worth $400. And top 3 winners will be featured on the GSDC Wall of Fame as well. So good luck for maximum people. And thank you so much for your attention. We look forward to have you all join for all our upcoming live session, which is scheduled this week and the next week. Thank you. Take care.